Oops. So anyway, we didn't give the Chihuahuas there, and so then about a week later they come back, and our attorney, McGann Sutton, again was out of town at the time and couldn't be reached, and they said, well, we're here to to take the little dog, and we said we don't have any little dogs. So they come through busting in, and they said they had a warrant, and I think they did, but we should have had 10 days to argue with that, but they didn't give us the 10 days. Our attorney was gone. So they came busting through and grabbed, while they looked in the bedroom in the house for these little dogs, and they found Missy Lou was having some puppies in there, and so they said, well, here's a dog with puppies, let's take her. Pam said that's not a Chihuahua, and the cops grabbed her.
Why were they taking that? Your dog? That was your personal dog, right?
That was a personal dog.
Why were they taking your personal dog?
Just to be mean, I think. That I can't remember her name. That animal control lady. She didn't know her butt from a hole in the ground. But anyway, she had a big smirk on her face, grabbing the dogs, and then they hustled Pam out and threw her in jail and said that she'd abused them, which I got pictures and everything else. There was none of that going on. This is probably a rambling story here.
Did you ever notice Pam abusing any animals?
No, that don't happen.
It was probably just the opposite, huh?
She literally, I've seen her give the coat off her back, to warm up an animal. And
yeah.
No, she.
Would you say that she neglected the animals?
No way at all. No, like I said, we've been out in 40-degree weather with the wind blowing and everything, below zero, and stuffing straw in their houses and making sure everybody's comfortable for the weather.
So you would go out, you and her or whoever, the animals were taken care of just about no matter what.
Much better than we were. Much better than we were. Everything went for the animals.
And your son would actually be there at the house some and everything too. And what was it like for him there? Was it a really horrible for him? Did he walk around in dog feces all the time? Or?
No, he thoroughly enjoyed it. He had a bunch of favorite puppies and dogs that he liked very much, and kittens and everything. And no, he just thoroughly loved it. That was having him. He loved spending the summers.
I bet he was sad to see him go, huh?
Yeah, when we saw the trouble going on, I had my dad take him home, and I guess he cried the whole way home because it just wasn't time, and it was a hard thing. Then they sent the child support people or child services out there after they'd trashed our house.
Wait a minute, they trashed your house?
Oh yeah, when they were taking the animals, there was doors out. Closet doors are off the hinges, and clothes on the floor, and dog crap all over and everything.
Well, now, why was the dog crap? Was that because Pam just let the dogs run around the house and use the bathroom all over?
No, in fact, I don't think there was any dogs in that house when they came. But from what I heard, they left the doors open and tramped the crap around and everything else.
And what were they doing? Why did they throw the stuff on the floor and stuff? Do you have any idea why they did that?
They're mean people. They were not. From what I gathered, there was no authorities there to watch over them. They were supposedly Humane Society kind of people, and why we never wanted them there to begin with. But they.
So they didn't have a warrant to be in your house, really?
Well, I'm not sure. They had a warrant saying they were going to take the animals.
Do you think they were even sure?
Well, the whole thing was so crooked, and so there was smoke and mirrors all over here, and they just did what they wanted without us ever even given a chance to say what's going on here.
So they came in your house and they didn't really clearly tell you exactly that they had orders or anything, huh?
No, they said they were going to take the animals, and the first place they went was the house, and started looking for Chihuahuas.
And they threw over your dressers, took doors off the hinges?
They just threw everything. They made a mess out of the house.
Where was Pam at the time?
She was in jail because she'd been beating the crap out of one of them cops when they came in there. She said that's not a Chihuahua, and they thought that hurt their shins or whatever.
So they just decided to have a ransacking at the house, huh?
That's
Basically. And did they ever find any? I mean, what were they looking for? Hidden dogs in closets or hidden dogs in dresser drawers?
This is a double-wide trailer that's sitting on some pumice blocks out there. Mm-hmm. And they want to know if we had a basement, and the dogs were hidden in there.
And I guess, now Pam probably did have one dog in the closet that she was trying to hide from them that was her personal dog or something like that.
No, that was Missy Lewis, her puppies.
Okay.
And they said that she was eating, we were feeding them carcasses. Well, that's not true. We were buying dog bones from a meat market.
Okay.
We spent $5 a barrel for the Mickey's meat market. And
well,
go ask them.
When I hear that and I'm watching the news and I say, okay, dog carcasses in the closet, you know, all these things are going off in my head like, you know, they've got secret, they're butchering, they got some kind of wild butcher maniac around. They're chopping up bodies and throwing them in the closets, but it wasn't that at all.
No, it's just some bones that we bought from a meat market. Is all it was.
So they took Pam, they drug her off to jail, and then they ransacked her house, basically. Took her animals, robbed her animals, the ones that she worked on, and then she was supposed to get some of the animals back, or that was kind of wishy-washy to me, too.
Well, there's the plea agreement. The plea agreement that she was basically forced into signing promised that they'd taken a rabbit and a ferret and several birds and hamsters and stuff like that. And the plea agreement said, well, I want those animals back. And they said, okay, you can have the animals back, those little ones. And then they told me that I could go back and adopt any of the animals that they hadn't found a home for. So I was able to go back to the barn and I got my dog back. They wouldn't give me any of the other ones. And then I snuck down to Dillon and got one more dog down there. But they wouldn't give me any more than that after that. And the small animals that I was talking about, we took them to court because they never give them back. And months later we went to court and found out that they'd been dead within 48 hours after they took them. So they made this plea agreement to give us back these animals, which were already dead. So it was an impossible plea agreement. There's no way they could hold up their end.
So how do you feel about this whole thing? What do you see in this whole ordeal? Is there anything that you see?
Nothing favorable about politicians or the Sheriff's Department or the Inhumane Society. I have nothing nice to say about them at all. I think we need a big revolution or something. But I've learned not to trust people. What they did was a horrible thing, and it hurt Pam a lot more than me. But
because Pam, from what I've talked to her about, she basically put her whole life's investment in trying to help these animals.
Yeah.
And now, not only has she lost that, but she's probably gone into debt to try to pay off all these legal fees. And
yeah, it's cost her, I know, thousands of dollars, thousands and thousands. And
it's devastated.
And it's devastated her, and she's very distrustful herself now, and she's not the same person at all. It's been very hard on her. This was her whole life. She'd put her whole life savings into the place, and that's why she worked to work every day, you know, and just came and wiped it all out.
Some of the animals were injured and badly in need of medical care.
What ended up, you guys were doctoring that horse, Josie, and what ended up happening to Josie? You guys had spent quite a few weeks probably trying to fix her up. Yeah. What ended up happening to her?
That's the one that they came and just hauled her off and put her down.